And we're joined here today with Sam Lee. You're the president and CEO of North Isle Copper and Gold. And I'd like to talk about the extensive work that you've been doing with your company on the North Island, but also to give a nice overview to investors who haven't heard your story before. My good man, welcome.
Thanks, Brandon. Pleasure to be here. So North Island is a copper and gold porphyry that exists on Vancouver Island in British Columbia. So obviously with a thematic around copper being the critical metals in the world, this will be a meaningful solution to the electrification and decarbonization problem that everyone is trying to solve today. So the project itself is fairly large. It's got about a $1 billion net present value after tax, 8%. This is defined by preliminary economic assessment, a 43-101 preliminary economic assessment with nearly a 20% IRR. It's about 100 million pounds of copper and about 100,000 ounces of recoverable gold for 22 years. And our objective here is to advance that into pre-feasibility and feasibility in the short periods of time.
Yeah, and fascinating, and I appreciate you going into that information. But also, you've got a management team that's done this before. If you don't mind, again, we just want to give everyone an overview. If you don't mind mentioning some of the management team, including yourself, and what you've been doing in the space.
Sure. I think it's critical, obviously, to be aligned with a team that has done this before. And our founder, Dale Corman, is probably best known for buying Peñasquito for approximately $2 million in 2000, and then selling it, de-risking it, selling it to Glamis for $1.2 billion in 2006. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame recently for that. He's also involved in another company called Western Copper, for which he founded. So he's really tried, tested, and true as it relates to creating value for shareholders. Myself, my background, I was an investment banker for 20 years. Prior to that, I was a metallurgist. I've raised and sold and bought over $100 billion of assets of this characteristic. And it's really kind of drawn me, this opportunity has drawn me to this proposition as well. And from an operating perspective, second to none, we've got Kevin O'Kane, who's ex-BHP for over 35 years, who sits on our board. We've got Ian Chang, who had developed Pretium, the Brucejack deposit, during the course of 2010 to 2018. Obviously, that's another very meaningful BC project that was just acquired by Newcrest. And we are very confident that this project can be advanced quickly and expeditiously.
Yeah, and speaking about advancing it, you just speaking about how you had a $1.1 billion PEA. That's fantastic to have. And if you can describe to investors, what does that mean for your company in terms of putting a value to your company?
That's right. Absolutely. So we currently, based on the PE, are trading at a sub 4% of that net asset value. So we're a sub $50 million market cap company today. Just based on my background, my banking days, traditionally a company of this stage, PEA stage, trades about 0.2 to 0.4 times their net asset value. So their NAV, we're trading at 0.04 times. So to get even to the lowest end of that range is approximately 5 to 6x, and to get to the upper end is about a 10x. So that's the proposition that our shareholders and that our cornerstone investors, who recently came into a substantial offering that we announced on Monday, is focused on, is that value proposition where we can get to that peer group that is defined today as being a 0.2 to 0.4 times X.
Yeah, well, why don't we talk about that? Because we're going to talk about some of your other projects in a moment as well. But when we talk about that strategic raise and that individual and that firm that came in.
Yeah, sure. So I think we're in a market today that requires influencers, right? And when we talk about influencers in the mining space, it's people that actually put their skin in the game and their reputation precedes them effectively. So we have three very big ones. One is our chairman, Dale Corman, who I had mentioned discovered Peñasquito and brought it into the sale in 2006 for $1.2 billion. He maintains 11% offering as part of the company, right? Through this offering, rather. The second individual is Donald K. Johnson, who in Canada is an absolute legend. He's vice chairman at BMO Capital Markets, but he's also the founding member of GoEasy, which is a multi-billion-dollar company. He took that from essentially a shell about 15 years ago, and now it's a plus $2 billion company. And then Michael Gentile, who's the prodigious investor that I think a lot of us are starting to know and appreciate and understand. He's kind of the next Eric Sprott, and really has had many successes within his own personal investment portfolio, but also with his historical involvement in institutional funds, such as Formula Growth and his current fund, the Bastion Fund.
Yeah, fantastic, and exciting to hear because we've now gone over your flagship property. We've now gone over the fact that you have a $1.1 billion PEA. We've gone over your management team and yourself and what you've been able to do. And now the investors who are coming into your story as well. But there's more to that. There's also other properties and other targets that you're going after. Right. Can you describe some of those as well?
Absolutely. Obviously the cornerpin asset right now is the North Isle project, the $1 billion project, the project that is going to be exceedingly relevant in this copper environments where we are seeing an insatiable need. $1.2 trillion need to be spent on critical metals. And if we were to get to our 1.5 degree climate change goals, of that $750 billion will need to be spent in copper. There isn't that many copper projects in the world today, right? Yeah. So that statistic alone is going to make our cornerpin asset relevant because we are a material asset to that problem. But the second point is just as interesting, if not more exciting, because it is much more nearer term in the sense that exploration does fuel interest and excitement. And quite frankly, in this environment, it really drives value. Yeah. So we're targeting across our 50-kilometer land package. We've targeted two main targets of 7 that we could advance 2 strategies. One is the nearer surface, higher grade zone in Northwest Expo, which is just 3 kilometers north of our contemplated project. Yeah. And that Northwest Expo, we've publicly come out and said we're aiming to find an additional 40 to 50 million tons of approximately 1 to 1.2 grams per ton of gold equivalent. The reason why we're switching to grams per ton is because it's a gold dominant system within the porphyry system, right? Gotcha. So we're talking about 3 to 4 times higher gold grades and 2 to 3 times higher NSR grades or dollar per ton grades within this zone of 40 to 50 million tons. So we wanted to find that this year through our drill program, which is very exciting. And then the second prospect is the Pemberton Hills. If you go back up to it's Pemberton Hills, which is approximately equidistant between our project and this is the closest deep sea water port that exists from continental America to Japan, which is where BHP that owned and operated this mine for 24 years sold their product to. So Pemberton Hills is a buried porphyry system. This is a system that is really sort of akin to what we're seeing around the Filo story. It's going to be deeper. It's going to be underground most likely. And if we find the source, that's going to be the 50 to 100 year proposition. And so we've spent $5 million to get to the point where this is drill ready. We've got 14 targets targeted, and we'd like to advance that this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And as all the noises of PDAC continue to go around us as we're here live at the conference, I'd like to ask one last question of you. You've talked about some amazing things about your company, but for an investor who's hearing about this, or maybe an investor who's already invested in you, what can they be excited about for the remainder of this year?
Absolutely. So as I said, exploration really does fuel excitement, and this is a high probability, reasonably low risk exploration target in Northwest Expo. So define that to 40, 50 million tons at, approximately 1 to 1.2 grams per ton of gold equivalent is our goal for this year. And to put that in context for those listeners, if we're successful in achieving that, there are companies that just have that as their cornerstone asset that are trading at twice as much we're currently trading at, right? Meanwhile, we have another $1 billion and 5 billion pounds of copper equivalent underpinning our asset base. So that's going to be key. And then, of course, advancing Pemberton Hills is also going to be an exploration focus of ours as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, there's a lot going on here, and I appreciate very much for your time as well. And just really quickly, for anybody looking for more information, where can they find out that information on your company?
We can find it right here. Nick Van Dykes is our Chief Financial Officer. He can be reached at info@northisle.ca. And then anytime someone wants to chat, I'm more than happy to make myself available.
Well, thank you so much, Sam, for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your PDAC as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.